Hopefully I've kept you awake. Thank you. Thank you again to Acting Superintendent Commander Colin Green. I think on behalf of the security industry, it's always incredibly beneficial for us to get insight directly from police to raise our collective awareness of the current threats and then obviously uplift the responses and mitigations that we put into place to manage those threats. Up next we have Assam Victor Irfani, Security Operations Engineer from the health sector. Assam is a cybersecurity engineer with a keen interest in detection, engineering, access management, and framework compliance. Thank you very much.
Hello. Good afternoon. I have another hard task of keeping you awake. Whew, I'll do my best. Hi, my name is Assam Victor Ifeanyi. Thank you for pronouncing that correctly. A lot of people jumble it up. Okay. You've got 10 seconds. Who's watched this movie? Oh, nice. We have like 3 people there. Cool. Can you remember the title of the movie? Correct. The title is Arrival. And now you're wondering, why a movie with my topic? Complexity to clarity. Strategies for effective stakeholder engagement. Pretty simple. This movie, when I watched this movie, it was almost sci-fi, but not really sci-fi. But one thing I loved about this movie was the communication, the heavy communication lessons that we could learn from this movie. I'll implore you to go watch it. I know we're all techies, we're busy, too many threat actors, and just take a time, maybe 2 hours, just chill on a Saturday, and watch it with your family. It's really insightful. Point from this movie that I would like to share with us. There was something about the lady. She was a communication specialist. Okay, so let me squeeze 2 hours into like roughly 3 minutes. What happened in this movie? They had like an alien invasion. And they were called heptapods, that's aliens. But they couldn't speak English. The US government, the Russians, the powerful people in our world right now, the governments, couldn't understand what these aliens were talking about. So they called on the lady, Dr. Banks. Dr. Banks, you're a specialist in communication. Can you interpret what these guys are talking about? Should we get ready for war? Should we sharpen our tools, our weapons? Is it time to fight back? She comes in, and for some reason, these aliens allowed humans onto their ships without hurting them, which was pretty strange. So they take her in to the ship. They had a screen. But the first thing she noticed was that the aliens would write a symbol on the screen. They could understand. Nobody could understand. But she took every symbol they wrote on the screen. She would take that symbol. She would go back. She would study it. They would come back another day. Another symbol. She was taking different symbols. Then she tried to communicate. They were speaking in oohs and ahs. She came up with a strategy. She got like a tablet and decided to write back the symbol that the aliens were showing her. She would write it back and show to them. Long story short, she had an idea what they were talking about. It was hard because when she tried, at a point, the US government were like, oh, let's go in. This is war. This is a declaration of war. We don't understand. Let's be prepared. And she said, calm down. She was so confident. She said, calm down. I will get through to them. They didn't believe her because other scientists had tried. But eventually she got through to what they were talking about, and she saved nations from going into war for no apparent reason. A few points from this movie was that her confidence was non-negotiable. She knew her craft. She knew her skill. She had an open mind. She was willing to take a step back, understand where they're coming from in order to proceed. Effective communication, no matter what, will always win. It will always win. Lastly, she was willing to try again. There was a time they told her, shut it down. We're going to war. Let's call the Russians. Let's get our troops. She said, no, let me keep trying. I love this quote. Say to effectively communicate, we must realize that we're all different in the way we perceive the world. I know you're wondering why security operations engineers come to talk about communication. I have about 10 years of communication. So when I came into the cybersecurity space, I saw a gap, a huge gap, which is a communication gap. It's something that is not talked about really often, but it's there. Now we'll go back to the basics of communication. What are actually the basics, the building blocks of communication? Simple, be clear. Know your audience. As security experts, we're trained in the language of threats, vulnerabilities, risks, SIMs, logs, firewalls. As stakeholders, the business, they're trained in the language of money. They're trained in the language of what's coming in, I should see value going out. So having to bridge that gap between the technical side of security and the business side of security is a huge task on us, especially the foot soldiers. Most of us, engineers, analysts, incident responders, would just rather stay behind the computer and slam away, patch away, configure away, implement away. But the business, they don't get it. Listen actively to understand, not to respond. I love this part because most times you listen to respond. Okay, what are they talking about? I have the answer in my head. So as you're talking, you're already working on the answer in your head. But you miss valid points. You miss body language. You miss cues that will give you an idea of what the business wants. Show empathy. Confirm understanding. Stay calm under pressure. Especially for our industry that is heavy on time. Especially at that point when you have that phone call as an incident responder, as a SOC manager, you have that phone call. Oh, we suspect something. There's something funny happening in our environment. That is not the time to stay calm. But that is the time to stay calm. Because you need to translate that's what's happening into the business that, oh, it's not as serious as you think. We'll get back to you. Because I can tell you for a fact that all the business is hearing at that point in time is reputation damage, data leak. Yeah, imagine the worst case scenario. It's our job as the implementers, the people that know the technicalities of what's going on, to share that information and know it's not as bad as you think. And if it's as bad as you think, also tell them it's as bad as you think. But we have to be honest. Now, some communication gaps. In my course of doing research, I spoke to a few colleagues, and these are some of the things I came up with. Too much detail. Okay, you want to implement this particular firewall. Why? And you go into the nitty-gritty. It's like you want to buy a car. People who love cars. Merely, I just want a car to take me from point A to point B. I don't care about the. But there are people who love cars. But someone like me, I want to go and buy a car. And the dealership is telling me about, oh, the V8 engine, or I think it's V6 engine, or this tire is made of XYZ. And I'm there. Can it move from A to B? Yes, I'm good. How's the fuel consumption? Pretty average. I'm good. So going into details, you've lost me. 10 minutes into that conversation, you've lost me with all the nitty-gritties. That's me. Technical jargon. This is one thing that we struggle with a lot. It's a big gap. Like I said, we are trained in vulnerability, the language of threats, SIMs, logs, the high-falutin words. The business, they don't understand what you're talking about. Priorities. Is the business goal aligned with our goals as implementers, as analysts, as incident responders, as engineers? Do we understand why we do what we do? It's funny because sometimes we think, including myself, we think that they should just get it. Like, can't they just get it? But the truth is, they don't all get it, not because of lack of knowledge or intelligence, but they've not fully understood where we are coming from. Information overload is also tied to the first point. Assumptions, assuming that they know. Meanwhile, they don't know. Now, this is one scenario. Regular SATs, blah, 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 blah. What's SATs? Security awareness training. So when you just say security awareness trainings, for us, we understand. We see the first part, the high level, we get it, but they don't understand where we're coming from. And we've lost them. Imagine you have to present something to probably maybe a committee or maybe the board, and they have like 20 agendas on their table. And your SOP or your security operations team, they need funding for XYZ. All you need to understand is what value are you bringing? For us to increase the budget or give you the money for this, what value are you bringing? You say, yeah, we need an extra layer of protection. We need to, why? I'm not going to go into real detail, it's pretty clear here. But what are the gaps identified there? Acronyms. It alienates the audience. Assumptions that they understand your point of view. Scenario 2. It's very straightforward, I think. The organizational calibrated tolerance threshold for potential adverse cyber events. I'm sure we have an idea what it is. They don't. They have no clue. They might have an idea, but what exactly? How does this affect the bottom line? Lots of technical jargons. And then there's the audience, assumptions, again. Now, back to arrival. I love this phrase. It says, language is the foundation of civilization. It is the glue that holds the people together. It is the first weapon drawn in a conflict. Very powerful. I think it was Dr. Banks that made this quote. I can't remember what it was in the movie. I had to take it down. Because sometimes we misunderstand ourselves because of a language barrier. Not because probably somebody speaks, I don't know, maybe Japanese or maybe I speak French. That has its own barrier, yes, but we're talking about the barriers, the gap in cybersecurity between with technical people or the technical teams and the non-technical teams or the stakeholders. That gap, we need to bridge that gap. The complexity, not realizing you haven't established any connection with your audience. You've only talked, you've not communicated. It's a complexity. Not realizing you haven't shared the value of your thoughts and your opinions. The value of your thoughts and opinions. It's a complexity. Not realizing you haven't communicated and talked, like I said earlier, and not noticing the divide of what the stakeholders see and what I see. What are they seeing? They're seeing money going out. They're not seeing money coming back in, profits coming back in. It's our job to interpret the money going out and the value coming in. For example, let's say your SOC. You notice that in the last quarter, there was some you were able to see maybe, let's not say the SOC, let's say the security awareness team. Before a company invested in security awareness and phishing, only about maybe a handful of people reported phishing emails, probably a handful. Then you have your security awareness training, then you notice the number went up. That's a good thing. Why? Because then you now understand that people are aware. You can click on, if you notice this email, click here, report this. That's an investment that has brought value. So if situations like that, you interpret to the business. So they may not see the profits in coins, but the profits are coming in because then people are aware. And we talked about culture earlier. Culture in cybersecurity is huge. 4 steps to clarity that I came up with. Bridge building. Refine and define. Show value and synergy. I'm going to break this 4 down. Now for bridge building. Very easy. Communication. we are communicating, right? Communication, metrics, numbers. How do we build the bridge between non-technical and technical? Numbers. Do you understand numbers? Do you understand the metrics? Collaboration, understanding that we're all on the same team. How do we collaborate with the business? It's funny how you get into talks with the guys in the wins, or the ladies, or all of us in the wins. We're the ones patching, and you bring up discussions on risk, and they're looking at you like, what are you talking about? It's sad to say that a lot of highly technical people, would I say they're not interested? Or maybe they are interested. But when it comes to the goals and objectives of the organizations, I think we just feel like, that's not for us. Just leave us with the systems, leave us with the servers. That's where we want to be. But you can't protect effectively if you don't understand what you are protecting, what you're securing. Flexibility. You want A. The business says, no, we can't give you A. Are you willing to be flexible to say, okay, can you give me B? I'll take C. Governance, we all know what governance is. Refine and define. See through the same lens. What does the business see? What are you seeing? The job is on us to ensure that what they see and what we see are in alignment. It is my job to understand what my company needs, what the business needs. What's my role as a security engineer? What value do I bring? How can I bridge that communication gap between what my job entails on a day-to-day BAU level with what the strategic or the tactical objective and goal is of the organization? Where do I fit in? It is my job to find out where I fit in and bring value in that regard. There was this statement I saw somewhere, I can't remember where I saw it, and it says that security was targeted, I think it was a punch at the SOC team. It said that the SOC team, they are known to be alarmists. I'm like, okay, I work in a SOC, so I don't think that's true, but that's the mindset that the business has seen security operations as. We always cry wolf, the boy who cried wolf. So how critical? Sometimes we may just need to change a process or shuffle around the process. Show impact, show value. Business enablers. We need to get to the point where we understand that as security operations, engineers, technical teams, vulnerability analysts or leads, threat intelligence analysts, we enable the business. It is the business, then security. But that doesn't mean it is. The business and security are aligned. If we understand that they are aligned, it makes our jobs easier. Because then, when you come with a claim or you require something, because the business understands this engineer is coming from a risk mindset. She's coming from a value addition mindset in the sense that she understands what our strategic goals are, what our tactical goals are. She knows what the business needs or wants, and she supports from her technical side. Then we will listen. Then she breaks it down for us to understand. She's not using higher words, making it sound so far-fetching, and we're like, what is it heptaport? What is she talking about? But I make it, what's the word? When you eat something, but that word, when something digestible, that's the word. I'm sharing my needs, the needs of my role, and I make it digestible to the stakeholders. This is what we need as a leader, as a team lead, as a squad lead. What's the return on security investment? Too important. Remember the example I gave about the fishing? That's a return on security investment. Because let's say they invested $10,000 on getting the training. And when they brought the money, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money. Woof. For security, we don't ever see value. But then you realize that the issues of staff clicking on phishing links, the numbers have dropped. Let's say the last year was crazy. We just click. Invested that money and the numbers dropped. That's value. Synergy. When we understand that it's one goal, one team. More like one team, one goal. I don't watch soccer a lot. I have a man and 2 boys in my house who love to watch soccer. Well, the last one is just 5. He doesn't know much about soccer. But my 9-year-old, well, he's going to be 9 tomorrow. My 9-year-old loves soccer. So once in a while, I just chip in. Oh, what's happening there? Oh, this team, what's your favorite team? Say his favorite team, I think is Real Madrid. I don't have no idea what that is. But I chip in and I see how these teams play soccer. Something crossed my mind like some months ago, and I asked my husband, I was really curious. Oh, like, they have teams. You have the European League, you have the La Liga League, something like that. They're all from different countries, right? He said yes. They play for different teams of different countries. He said yes. So how, during the Olympics or the World Cup, who plays for those countries? It's like the same guys from those teams, they pick them, they come back home to play. So there's a high chance that I would have tackled my colleague or my countryman from a different team. But when it comes to the World Cup, we all have to play on the same team, right? For one goal, right? He said yes. Like, interesting. So let's see ourselves using that ideology. Different teams, especially in security, we need to learn to collaborate a lot. Like, not just my company, your company, but we have one enemy. Just one. We're not our own enemy. So if you understand that the business and different teams work together for one goal, it makes it easier. Our priorities aligned. Key takeaways. I encourage you to develop a clear framework. I'm going to share a framework, very simplified framework I came up with. The next slide. But this is what I would love for you to do. Develop a clear framework that bridges communication gaps between technical and non-technical audiences in your organization. Like, let it be an intentional part of what you want to achieve, probably for this new financial year. How do we bridge that gap? Reframe complex technical conversations into business analogies. Pull out your security teams that are always behind the computer. Pull them into risk meetings. Pull them into business strategy meetings. They might not want to. They might be like, oh no, I don't understand what they're talking about. But they'll get something. Because I would work better. I'm just using myself as an example. I would work better if I understand what I'm protecting and what I'm securing. Effectively align cybersecurity risk with organizational objectives and outcomes. What is the outcome or the goal or the objective of the organization? Is it aligned with cybersecurity? Enhance stronger partnerships between security teams and business leadership. Like I said earlier, you have a meeting talking about strategy, business goals, where we're going, pull them in. You might decide to do it maybe every quarter or every month if you have the resources, but every quarter. Pull in your security team, pull in your threat intelligence teams, pull in the technical people into these meetings, these strategic meetings. You will be shocked at how significant that eye-opening conversation on what they're doing, what they're securing, how far to go. Simple clarity framework. Clear. Very simple. When I came up with this, I was like, anybody can adopt this. It is too simple. clarify the content. What is that thing you want to share? What is that information you want to pass across, or the mindset you want to change? Why before the how? Why do we do this? Why should we do this? Sort that out first before we think of how are we going to do this. Limit the jargon. Oh my goodness, the jargon, the jargon, the jargon. I've been in meetings and we're like, not because I didn't understand, well, I didn't understand 100% of what they were saying because there was a lot. This is me that we speak in jargonese. But there are some high-level technical acronyms. I'm like, is it necessary? Like, is it really necessary? Engage through the lens. Stakeholders. For effective communication, you need to see things through the lens, from the same lens. It's like holding a camera and both of us are sharing, trying to see one picture. One person is, the stakeholders are here. We're on this side and we're trying to see one vision, one goal. Ask and acknowledge. Confirm understanding. Don't just drop the bomb and assume that they get it. They may not get it. They may get it, but there's a chance that they did not actually get it. And recommend next steps. End with clarity. Did you understand? Some might be bold enough to say, no, I don't. I've been in meetings where they ask, do you understand? I don't understand. Could you please? Because is it a thing of maybe, I don't know, whatever it is. But I'm a lifelong learner. Like, I decided to switch careers at 35 after doing over 10 years in one space. Went hard on self-study, like hard. Cut off social media, uninstalled apps. That was how hard I went. So it's doable. You might think that, our teams, they don't agree. Maybe in your head, you're already seeing this particular person that will kick against the idea of being pulled into a strategy meeting. You go back, like Dr. Banks. If A didn't work, go back. Look for B. B didn't work, go back. You would find something that would work for your organization. You would definitely find something. And I leave you with this final quote. It is so powerful. It is so relevant. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. When you assume that it has taken place, that's where the problem starts. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Okay. I can see I communicated effectively. Thank you for your time.
Sam, thank you very much for that. That was extremely enjoyable and enlightening, and I would argue is not specific to cybersecurity, but perhaps agnostic to every discipline that we do in security, is underpinned by communication, and I think the messages from that last presentation were universal. We're going to take a short break now for 10 minutes.